Hello folks, welcome to the channel and welcome to the Man Cave. Well, I'm just finishing a review on this. It's from Carpuride, it's their W702 Pro, and it's the one that's got the tyre pressure monitoring system. So once I've finished that, I'll have a link up here and I'll put something down in the description as well. If you want to go and have a look at it, please feel free to do so. But the purpose of today's video is just to show you how easy it is. Yes, it's really easy to upload a new image which comes on the screen when you fire the Carpuride up. So it replaces the Carpuride boot up screen image with a image that you want on there. And in this case, let's just turn the unit off. I've actually got it plugged into a power bank. So I've already put a new one on there. It works all the time. And in this instance, I've just put one for an Africa Twin, for example, and then it will then go to the normal screen. And then you can either go to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So that's what we're going to do today. And for the purpose of the exercise, I'm going to take a photo of my sleeping 12-year-old German Shepherd Milo, and I'm going to get that onto the Carpuride, and that will be my customizable boot up image. And as I said, no more than 5 minutes it's going to take to do that. What I will say from the outset is if you go to Carpuride's website, they make reference to everything being done on a Windows based machine. So if you've got a Windows based machine, don't ask me any questions because I don't use Windows. I only use an Apple computer, in my case my Apple MacBook. So this really is for Apple users, and I will show you how easy it is to get an image from your computer onto the Carpuride, so you have a very nice new boot up screen when you come to power the unit up. Basically, you're going to have two options how to get a new customizable boot up screen onto your Carpuride. So the first option is go onto the Carpuride's website. I'm going to put a link in the description down below, and basically they will tell you, depending on what unit you have, because all the units have got different screen sizes, and they will tell you what image size you need to send them depending on what size of screen you have. So in this case, the W702 is a screen size or resolution of, I think it's 1024 by 600. So you need to conform your photo image to that size and then whisk it via email to Carpuride. And then basically what they do is they will wrap that image in a file. They call it a bin file, and that file gets put onto an SD card, which then gets put into the machine, and that bin file together with the new image that you want to have on there, that bin file is something that is recognized and is able to be read by the Carpuride software, and then that basically sucks that image up and replaces Carpuride's boot up screen with your new customizable image that you want on there. So that is option one, and they do specify on their website that is only for Windows based machines, but I have to say it's pretty similar for Apple users as well. So very simple to do, but it does mean you have to email Carpuride, but you don't actually have to do that because there is option two. I'm going to be using option two because we don't have to send any images to Carpuride, and this is all thanks to a guy called Dominic Szymanski, if I've pronounced his name correctly. Basically, Dominic's got a web page which allows you to drop an image onto the web page. It will then wrap that image in a bin file. You download the bin file containing the correctly sized image. So whether it be for the 702 or the 502, you have to make sure that the image size is correct, just like for the Carpuride's website. So his web page then wraps the image in a bin file, so it's exactly like Carpuride. You download it, it sits on your computer. You then drop the bin file onto an SD card and then insert the SD card into your Carpuride, and voila, you have a new boot up image. So let's do that now. Step one then is to get the image that you want to use. In my case, on my laptop, I've got a photo of Milo. So there we go, there is Milo on the beach, and what I want to do is just resize it. Go to tools, go to adjust size, and then unlock the padlock here, and then just put in 1024 by 600. So that's the size of my W702 screen. So there we go, and it just might squish it down a little bit, but there we go, just altered it a little bit. So that's the image that we are going to use. So we can close that down. And then step 2 is going to be to format an SD card. We're going to format the SD card. In my case, I'm going to use a 16 gigabyte card. I would suggest go no more than a 32 gigabyte card. Just pop it into your computer. And then what we're going to do is just format it. It takes a matter of moments. So format it then. So where are we on here? So it is, there we go, disk utility. Just make sure you've got the right card. You don't want to erase your hard drive. So I know the external drive has got the Carpuride on it. So that's what I need to do. Going to go up to erase. And that's what it's called, Carpuride. And you've got a selection of formats here. So you can either go exFAT or MS-DOS FAT. I'm going to go for MS-DOS brackets 32. So MS.32 and then erase it. And then that will wipe everything out on the card. Doesn't take too long at all. There we go, it's done. I'm going to do that and then eject the card. And then that is the card formatted. Next thing we have to do is upload the image that we want to use. In my case, my lovely German Shepherd Milo, which has been correctly sized for the W702. And then what we do is open Safari, and then I've already copied the link to Dominic's web page. Enter that, and then first off then it says no warranty, i.e. if all goes wrong, don't blame me. So I understand that. And then what we have to do is select model. So we know we've got the W702 Pro. So there we go. So we select that and then choose a file to be uploaded. And then the file that we want to use is this one here for me. So I'm going to upload that. And then if the size was wrong on this page, it would tell you that it was wrong. So very simple. We want to wrap it in that bin file. And how do we do that? Download boot logo. And what it's doing, it's like Carpuride would do. They're going to wrap your image in a bin file to then load it onto the Carpuride unit itself. So it doesn't take too long. And then that will download that. There you see. So that's downloaded already. And then what we do is, there we go, ISO dash or underscore part.bin. So that's the one we want. And then we go to the next stage. The next step then is to simply drop the bin file that we've downloaded from Dominic's website onto the recently formatted SD card. And as I already ejected the SD card, then what I have to do is just pop it out of the card reader, pop it back in again so it shows up on my desktop. There we go. And just confirming there should be nothing else on the SD card. So nothing contained on the SD card. Go to Finder and then Downloads. And then there we go. That's what we're after, the ISP underscore part.bin. What we do then is just drop that onto the SD card. And then we're ready for the next step. Really simple. So the final stage then is just to remove the SD card slot cover. 2 little screws, don't lose them because they really are small. So remove those screws and then we just have to then eject the SD card, just making sure that that file has been downloaded onto the SD card. So let's eject that. Once it's ejected, just remove it, in my case, from my SD card reader. And then we're going to pop the SD card into the side slot here. It goes in with the writing facing towards the back of the unit itself. And you might just have to use a screwdriver just to put it in. And then there will be a message come up. There we go. Update with that file. It's a countdown, and then just tick. And then that's now sucking the image from the bin file, and then it'll reboot itself with, hopefully, fingers crossed, the new image. And there we go. There is Milo, my German Shepherd, as the new boot up screen. As simple as that. And then just to make sure, if we turn it off, back on again, and there we go. It's as simple as that. Folks, I've got no idea whether you should leave that SD card with that bin file on the SD card in the unit itself. So what I would suggest you do is just turn the unit off, let it depower, and you'll see a little red light in here, and then that red light will go out. And then once the red light has gone out, just remove the SD card. And I would suggest maybe just delete that file that you've downloaded on there. And then the only thing you need to do is, what I would suggest is put those two little screws back on the SD card port cover first, and then just screw them up. And that, folks, is very simply how, using an Apple computer, we're able to get a new boot up screen installed on Carpurides W702, and fingers crossed it should work for some of the other units within the Carpuride range. Make any comments in the comments section down below. That's it, folks, and we'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheerio for now.